The finale of The Boys was actually incredibly good. Legit, after they gave us a whole entire filler season, they went ahead and saved everything right at the end in the finale, and Homelander is officially dead. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of today's video. I am going to be discussing the season finale of The Boys in complete detail. So, without wasting any more of your time, let's get straight into it. The episode kicks off at Frenchie's grave, where we see that his actual grave is being dug out. Everyone from the team is standing around there, and absolutely everyone is crying. And, right at this time, Huey is reading a letter that was given to him by Frenchie. He's basically reading his will, which was actually quite funny. Like, legit. Frenchie had written in it that he has seen everyone's ass in this entire team. Anyways, we see right here that when Kimiko starts crying a whole lot, Huey places his hand right on her shoulder to try and console her. But for some random reason, she gets extremely angry. And then we notice that the surrounding particles in the air are moving directly toward her, which is exactly like what happens when Soldier Boy gets super pissed off and is about to explode in anger. And right here, we see Sister Sage, who instantly realizes that, yep, their experiment has completely worked. On the other side of things, we see that in a very remote area, inside a small house, Ryan is living all by himself. He is sitting there watching TV, looking at all the propaganda that is being spread by Vought and Homelander. But just at that moment, Homelander himself arrives right there. He explains to Ryan that Vaught's crime analytics department got a tip that a random child was found flying around in a remote village, and Homelander immediately figured out that this child was Ryan. Homelander has come here to get Ryan on his side and to take Ryan along with him. He even offers him, say, take entire floors in Vought Tower. You can live however you want to live. But right here, Ryan just rejects him straight to his face, because since their meeting at the very start of the season, Homelander had beaten him terribly. Plus, on top of that, Ryan's ideologies now completely differ from Homelander's. Homelander tries really hard to convince him here, but in the end, Ryan straight up tells him to just get the hell out of there. On the other hand, we see that all the people they saved in the last episode are now being sent over to Canada along with the Gen 5 soups so that all of them can stay safe. And here, we get to see a conversation between one of the Gen 5 soups and Starlight, where Starlight compares her own self to Queen Maeve, talking about how when she first met Queen Maeve in the beginning, she found her to be very, very arrogant, and she didn't like her at all. But slowly, as of today, she has become the exact same person that Queen Maeve used to be. However, the Gen 5 soup, who really looks up to Starlight, says that she is not disappointed at all by meeting her, and that she loved it. Since Starlight still isn't running away from the fight, she is actually standing her ground and fighting. On the other hand, we see Ashley and the church father, meaning Ashley's husband, spending some alone time together. Where Ashley's husband, who is the church father, says that something very, very wrong is going to happen to all the people who currently refuse to accept Homelander as God and who are standing against this whole thing. Ashley tries to find out what exactly is going to happen because she doesn't fully believe in Homelander either. And here, the other Ashley inside the back of her mind tries to talk to her, but since she was upset with her in the last episode, she isn't talking to her at all. Anyway, on the other side we see Kimiko standing right next to Frenchie's grave, mourning and being sad. But just then, Sister Sage arrives on the scene. She comes over and starts saying all kinds of awful, messed up things to Kimiko about Frenchie, trying to provoke her and make her angry. And this anger builds up so much that, in the end, Kimiko unleashes a radiation blast in a fit of rage. Because of this, we see that the Vought serum inside Sister Sage dries up completely, and her intelligence vanishes along with it. Butcher walks up from behind and says that they were only making her angry to test whether Frenchie's experiment actually worked or not. And yes, it worked. Moving on, we see all the boys talking about how tomorrow, Homelander is going to do a public stream directly from the White House, where he will announce that he is the new god of America. And because of this, all the boys make a plan that they will infiltrate the White House and go in there to kill Homelander with the help of Kimiko. Since MM had broken in there last year, he had stolen the blueprints, so this job becomes easy for them. And here we see that after Sister Sage's compound dried up, she has become completely stupid. She says, "You all are going to die anyway, and the world is going to end too. So before that happens, I am going to visit Harry Potter World." And leaving all this behind, she just goes off to visit Harry Potter World. On the other hand, the next day at the White House, we see the church father talking to one of the richest, or you could say one of the most elite people in America, so that they support Homelander, support their church, and so that this whole making Homelander a god thing can work out perfectly. But just then, the Deep arrives. He comes and says that even though you dissolved the Seven, you should hire me. I will kill every single person for you who doesn't believe in you. Here, for the first time in the entire series, Homelander tells Deep the actual truth about why he hasn't killed him yet. He wants Deep to realize on his own what a low-life, pathetic, bottom-feeding guy he is, and tells him that he doesn't like him at all. Hearing this, Deep is completely broken inside. Meanwhile, on the other side, Homelander flies that elite guy up and leaves him straight in space, since he is also a part-time astronaut, meaning he kills him. Obviously, he leaves him in space without a spacesuit. And here he tells the Church Father that he doesn't need anyone to become the God of America. Here, the Church Father also mentions that they got a tip that Kimiko might be able to unleash a radiation blast, so they should delay this program. But Homelander refuses this as well. And here, the Father also mentions that they have deployed psychics all over the country, so after Homelander's God announcement, anyone who doesn't believe will be killed by them. On the other hand, we see all the boys getting prepared and entering inside the White House, where Butcher finally picks up his iconic crowbar from the comics, with which he killed Homelander in the comics too. Meanwhile, on the other hand, we see that this public stream starts from the White House. And here we see that national security already knows about the tunnels through which the boys' team is entering. And therefore, seeing their attack, this place is being evacuated slowly. First of all, Madam President, meaning Ashley, is being taken out of here. But just then, we see Ashley run away from the guards and head down into the tunnel towards the boys. On the other hand, we see that this was a trap by Homelander and his team, where we see Butcher and his boys get locked between two doors in the tunnels and bullets start flying at them. They are somehow managing to survive there, but right then, Ashley arrives. She opens the door, the reason being that she wants to redeem herself. In the previous episode, she had a major argument with the Ashley in the back of her mind regarding her morals, and that's why she helps the boys in this episode to satisfy her morals. Where we see that when all the boys get out of there and reach up into the White House, the first person they encounter is Deep. Deep thinks that this is actually a test for him to show his loyalty toward Homelander, where we see that Starlight straight up grabs Deep and flies away with him to kill him. Meanwhile, at this same time, the Church Father also arrives, having come to hunt down Butcher and Kimiko. Here, Huey uses his brain brilliantly. He shoots and turns on the smoke machines installed in the White House, causing smoke to fill everywhere. Kimiko and Butcher head toward Homelander, while Frenchie mimics Butcher's voice and misleads the Church Father, taking him into a completely different room, where, just as the Church Father is about to attack Huey, M comes from behind and puts something on his mouth. I won't say what he puts on it, but the sonic blast coming out of his mouth reverses, goes right back inside him, and the Church Father dies right there. On the other hand, we see that the stream is live, and in the middle of it, Butcher bursts in with Kimiko, after which we see a very intense fight begin between Homelander and Butcher. By the way, the ending of the boys' comic also took place in the White House. Anyway, on the other hand, we see that during the fight between Starlight and Deep, Starlight throws Deep into the water, and if you watched the previous episode, you'd know how angry the ocean fish are at Deep because of the pipeline incident, so they straight up attack Deep, and Deep dies right there too. On the other hand, we see that the fight between Butcher and Homelander becomes extremely brutal, and Kimiko isn't able to help much. And at this time, we see Ryan burst in to help them, and together with Butcher, he gives Homelander a very tough fight. And at this same time, we see Kimiko get a flashback of Frenchie, which gives her the courage to unleash a radiation blast, and she fires a straight radiation blast. After this, we see that finally, Homelander is no longer immortal. Even the normal compound along with the V1 inside him has dried up. And with this, the compound inside both Butcher and Ryan dries up as well, where we see that now Butcher and Homelander start a one-on-one fight, in which Butcher beats Homelander terribly. And right when Butcher picks up his crowbar, we see Homelander begging him, saying, "I will give you Vought, I will give you everything, I will do whatever you want, I will even lick your spit, just let me go." But in the end, just like in the comics, Butcher strikes Homelander's head directly with his crowbar and splits his brains open. And this was the end of Homelander. As soon as this happens, the rest of the boys who were fighting outside also arrive here. Ryan also wakes up from unconsciousness and sees his father dead. And we see that this entire fight that was going down was actually broadcasting on that same public live stream, and everyone was watching it on TV. After this, we see Ashley come forward and give a statement saying that Homelander was a crazy psychopath, and to stop him, my own CIA special operatives went to kill him, meaning she is talking about Butcher and his team. But a little later, we see on the news that Ashley has actually been dismissed from the post of president. Anyway, on the other side, all the boys are now very happy, and we see Butcher go to talk to Ryan. He says that he, Terror, and Ryan can start a new life together. This is what his mother would have wanted too. But Ryan says, "No, if I have to start a new life, I wouldn't want to do it with you." Hearing this, Butcher becomes very sad. He goes to his room and tells Terror that now it's just you and me left. But then we see one of the saddest scenes of this series, where Terror has died too. Obviously, we've seen Terror for a long time. He was on medications, he had grown old, and because of this, he passes away from natural causes. Butcher becomes so distraught by this that he takes the remaining soup-killing virus that Frenchie had made and leaves. Huey notices this and realizes that Butcher has gone nowhere else but to Vought Tower. A little later, we see that Huey also reaches Vought Tower, where he meets Butcher. Butcher says here that every single soup will have to die because just killing Homelander won't do anything. The people at Vought will obviously just bring in some other new soup, and they will cause a similar level of destruction as Homelander. But Huey obviously doesn't agree with this, and a fight breaks out between Butcher and Huey. And here we see that Butcher has put the soup-killing virus into Vought Tower's sprinkler system, just like Frenchie had mentioned, so that with the press of a single button, all the soups inside Vought Tower will die. And he is just about to press that button, but right then we see Huey shoot him to stop him. Huey says, "I didn't want to do this," but in the end, we see that Butcher dies at Huey's hands. And yes, this has also been kept similar to the comics, where in the comics too, when Butcher sets out to kill all the soups, Huey goes to stop him. The two have a fight, they fall from a very high roof, after which Butcher lies saying that he killed Huey's parents before coming. In that rage, Huey kills Butcher. But yeah, the Billy Butcher from the comics was a total asshole. The one here is shown to be quite good. Anyway, after Billy's death, we see that he is buried right next to his wife, Rebecca, and we get to see a peaceful ending. First of all, we see Kimiko leave for Mexico alone with a dog, just like she had imagined she would do with Frenchie. On the other hand, we see that MM has now adopted Ryan, and we see that finally, whatever disputes MM had with his family have been resolved. He remarries his wife, and Ryan is there too. On the other hand, at the very end, we see Huey, who says that they will now go to that bar where Butcher wanted to take Lenny at one time, and he says he will definitely go. Anyways, here we see Huey get a call from the president, and the president tells him that the soups are starting to go out of control again because of Vought, and they are opening a new department to control the soups, and they want Huey to lead it. Hearing this, Huey says that the offer is very good, but I wouldn't want to do this because I am now working on my own startup. And finally, we see the place where it all started, meaning a video-audio parlor, just like the one Huey used to work at in the first season. He has now opened his own video-audio parlor, which he has named Campbell Audio Visual, where we see that Huey is running this shop along with Starlight. Starlight is pregnant here, and they are almost about to get married. And since all of this started with Robin's death, meaning the death of Huey's first girlfriend, they have even named their baby Robin. And behind this store, there are some systems set up through which they can track where trouble is brewing in the city so that Starlight can go and solve it. And we even see that some casualties have occurred somewhere in the city, and police backup will take time to arrive. So here we see Starlight use her powers to go handle them and save them. And the final shot of the show is of Huey, who is now happy because he solved everything. He took revenge for the thing where it all started. And the series ends right here. Now honestly, look, I liked this finale. I know a lot of things were changed from the comics, and I am not complaining about it. I am fine with that. Yes, one thing is that the things they did in the last episode in 1 hour, if they had started doing it 2 or 3 episodes earlier and the fights went on a bit longer, it would have been even more fun because this episode rushes quite a bit to wrap things up. But overall, I would say at least it wasn't a Stranger Things level ending. It wasn't that bad. It was a good ending. So, what are your opinions on all of this? What do you think? Do let me know down in the comments. I would definitely love to read your opinions.